Hello everyone, this is Harry, your host. So stop what you are doing right now, because what I am about to tell you in the next 11 minutes is going to completely change how you see this World Cup. Forget everything the mainstream media is telling you. Forget the safe predictions. Forget the usual suspects. Because right now, just weeks before the biggest football tournament in human history kicks off, the race for that golden trophy is more unpredictable, more explosive, and more dramatic than it has ever been before. We have Messi potentially playing his last World Cup ever. We have a teenage Spanish sensation whose fitness is hanging by a thread. We have France with a squad so deep it is almost unfair. And we have dark horses hiding in the shadows ready to tear the whole thing apart. This is the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and today we are breaking it all down, team by team, star by star, in ways nobody else is talking about. So if you are a real football fan, if you live for moments like this, smash that like button right now and subscribe, because this channel is where the real football conversation happens. All right, let us get into it. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is set to begin on June 11th with 48 teams competing across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. That is right, for the first time ever, 3 nations are co-hosting this thing simultaneously. Games happening from coast to coast, from Vancouver to Miami, from Mexico City to Boston. This is the largest World Cup in history, and with that size comes something incredible and terrifying at the same time. More room for chaos, more room for upsets, more room for a team nobody expected to suddenly find themselves in a semi-final. So when people ask me who is going to win this thing, my answer is always the same: it is complicated. But that is exactly why we are here today. Let us start at the top. Let us talk about the nation that every single major prediction model, every sports betting market, and every football analyst right now is pointing to as the #1 favorite. And that team is Spain. Spain tops the ranking with a 16.08% probability of winning the tournament, according to Opta's AI supercomputer, thanks to an extraordinary generation filled with talent and stars such as Lamine Yamal, Pedri, and Rodri. Spain also arrives as reigning European champions. Let that sink in for a second. Spain are defending European champions. They have arguably the best midfield in the world right now. Rodri, when he is fit and firing, is the best defensive midfielder on the planet. Pedri controls tempo like a seasoned veteran even though he is still so young. And then there is Lamine Yamal. This kid is only 18 years old and he is already being called a generational talent. Yamal and Nico Williams have given Spain something previous Spanish generations lacked: genuine verticality. They can still lull you into a slow death through patient build-up, but now they have the pace and technical ability on the flanks to give them a completely different attacking dimension. But here is the problem. Here is the thing that is keeping every Spanish fan up at night. There are significant concerns surrounding the hamstring injury suffered by teenage winger Lamine Yamal. His hamstring tear is serious. The medical team is working around the clock to get him fit, and Spanish fans know this tournament without Yamal at full fitness is a completely different tournament. He is not just a player for Spain, he is their identity right now. He is their heartbeat. If Yamal walks out onto that pitch at 100%, Spain are genuinely terrifying. But if he is carrying that injury, forced to play at 70 or 80%, their entire attack changes. And that is a massive question mark hanging over the #1 favorite going into this tournament. Prediction markets currently have France at 18% and Spain at 17%, which tells you everything you need to know about how close this race really is. And that brings us perfectly to France. Because if Spain are the tactical favorites, France are the absolute depth favorites. France is the undeniable juggernaut going into the 2026 World Cup. Manager Didier Deschamps has refined this team into a terrifying tactical machine. France's game plan is simple: invite pressure, then punish you for it. The moment an opponent steps too high, Kylian Mbappe, Ousmane Dembélé, and Michael Olise are already gone. Think about what that means in practice. You press France, you try to be brave against them, you try to play attacking football, and within seconds the ball is over the top and Mbappe is in behind your defense. At his best, nobody in the world can stop that transition threat. Nobody. Kylian Mbappe is their star player and is just 5 goals away from passing Miroslav Klose for the most career goals at the World Cup. He has that record in his sights, and there is nothing quite like a motivated Mbappe with a personal milestone on the line at a World Cup. We saw what he did in 2022 in Qatar. He was the best player at that tournament, scored a hat-trick in the final, and France still lost on penalties to Argentina. That hurt. That hurt deeply. And you can be sure that every single player in that French dressing room is walking into this tournament with revenge on their mind. France's squad depth is so elite that you could make a legitimate case for their B team making a deep run in this competition. In a 48-team World Cup, their ability to rotate without dropping quality is their most underrated advantage. Think about that. Other teams play their best 11 and then start struggling in the later rounds when fatigue sets in. France can rotate 4 or 5 players, bring in fresh legs, and barely drop in quality. That is championship DNA right there. And with Didier Deschamps stepping down after this tournament, every French player knows this is his final dance. They want to send him out with the biggest prize in football. That emotional fuel is real. Do not underestimate it. Now let us talk about the story that is capturing the imagination of the entire football world. The greatest player who has ever lived, Lionel Messi. This is almost certainly Lionel Messi's final World Cup, and that alone gives Argentina a weight no other team carries into this tournament. There is something almost mythological about watching Messi in this tournament. He already has one World Cup trophy. He won it in 2022 in Qatar, and the football world celebrated like nothing we had ever seen before. The man finally had the one medal that had been missing from his collection. And now here he is, reportedly at 38 years old, lining up to do it all over again. But Lionel Scaloni's side is not built around just Messi. It is a hard, well-drilled unit that knows how to suffer, how to counter, and most importantly, how to win ugly. With Enzo Fernandez and Alexis Mac Allister entering their prime, the engine room behind Messi is more than capable of carrying the load. Reigning champion Argentina sits at 10.09% according to supercomputer predictions, as Lionel Messi seeks to end his international career on the ultimate high. And you know what makes Argentina dangerous beyond the statistics and the percentages? It is the belief. It is that unshakable, almost terrifying belief that they have won this before and they can win it again. When a team wins a World Cup, something changes in their DNA. They know what it takes. They know what the pressure feels like. They know how to deal with the chaos of a knockout tournament. Argentina does not crack under pressure. They embrace it, and with Messi potentially playing his last ever World Cup match on that final stage, the emotional magnitude of what could happen is almost impossible to put into words. Argentina's Messi's final World Cup ends on the grandest stage possible, potentially in the final, but Spain's tactical superiority could edge it. That is one prediction. But football does not always follow predictions. That is why we watch. And then there is Brazil. And Brazil this year is genuinely different. For years, Brazil's World Cup campaigns followed the same heartbreaking script: breathtaking attack, fragile defense, early exit, national mourning. Carlo Ancelotti's arrival changes that script. Carlo Ancelotti is one of the greatest club managers who has ever lived. He has won Champions League titles. He knows how to manage egos. He knows how to build a team that performs when it matters most. And he has inherited a Brazil squad absolutely packed with talent. Brazil will attempt to extend its record as the most successful nation in World Cup history under new manager Carlo Ancelotti, with stars such as Vinicius Jr., Rafinha, and potentially Neymar leading the squad. Vinicius Jr. is arguably the most dangerous winger in world football right now. When he is on form, he is unplayable. He can take on 3 defenders, beat them all, and still finish with quality. Rafinha adds work rate and creativity. And if Neymar is fit and motivated, that adds another entire dimension of unpredictability. Vinicius Jr. is a game-breaker. Rafinha's direct running and pressing, and Endrick's youthful finishing instincts may be important against tired defenses in the latter stages of the tournament. Brazil have not won this tournament since 2002. 24 years of heartbreak, 24 years of incredible squads that just could not get it done on the biggest stage. The question is simple: is 2026 the year that drought finally ends? With Ancelotti in charge and that attacking firepower available, more people than ever believe the answer might just be yes. Now let us talk about England. Because every 4 years this conversation happens, and every 4 years English fans dare to dream. And there are genuine reasons to believe in England this time. England, runner-up at the most recent European Championship, has an 11.01% chance according to Opta's predictions. Harry Kane is their all-time leading scorer. Jude Bellingham has the quality and the mentality to be the best midfielder at this tournament. Declan Rice provides the defensive foundation that allows everyone else to express themselves. England certainly have an elite attacking line, but there are question marks on defense and the subpar form of a few key players like Jude Bellingham and Cole Palmer heading into the tournament. With a draw to Uruguay and a loss to Japan in recent friendlies, some questions have been raised for a team that has talent from Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, and Declan Rice. Now, some people will say friendly results mean nothing, and that is partly true, but form matters, confidence matters, and right now England's form is raising eyebrows. Thomas Tuchel has taken over as manager, and while he is tactically elite at club level, international management is a completely different challenge. Can he get this group of individuals functioning as a unit under tournament pressure? That is the question every English fan is sitting with right now. England has reached 16 previous World Cups and won the trophy 1 time. back in 1966. 60 years. The wait continues. Or does it? This is the most credible England squad we have seen in decades. But credibility means nothing if you cannot deliver when it counts. Now here is where things get really interesting. Let us talk about the teams that nobody is giving enough credit to. The dark horses, the chaos agents, the teams that could genuinely tear this tournament apart. Germany appears among the favorites with a 5.66% probability and will attempt to recover their prestige after disappointing performances in recent international tournaments. But here is the thing about Germany, they are never truly out of it. The German football machine has a way of grinding itself back into form when the stakes are at their highest. Germany projects the highest group stage goals of any team in the tournament at 7.9, with a 97% qualification rate. Their attacking output in the group stage is genuinely elite. If they can carry that form into the knockout rounds, they become a nightmare matchup for anyone. The Netherlands will attempt to finally win their first World Cup with a generation led by Virgil van Dijk, Tijani Reinders, and Ryan Gravenberch. Van Dijk at this stage of his career is still one of the most commanding defenders in world football. Reinders and Gravenberch provide that dynamic box-to-box energy in midfield that can overwhelm teams that are not ready for it. The Dutch have been knocking on the door for years. Could this finally be their tournament? And then there is Portugal. This World Cup is Cristiano Ronaldo's final opportunity to lift the trophy with yet another veteran-led group alongside him. Ronaldo has won everything there is to win in club football. Multiple Champions League titles, multiple league titles across different countries, Ballon d'Or awards. But the one thing he never won, the one thing that has haunted him his entire career, is the World Cup trophy. And now at 41 years old, with time genuinely running out, this might be his absolute last chance. RotoWire's full bracket prediction actually picks Portugal to win the 2026 World Cup at plus 1,100 odds. That is not a mainstream pick. That is a bold call. But Portugal have Bruno Fernandes orchestrating play, Bernardo Silva providing creativity, and Ronaldo still capable of those iconic big-game moments when everything is on the line. Uruguay, led by a strong generation featuring Darwin Núñez and Federico Valverde, also have dark horse potential. Valverde has been one of the best midfielders in Europe this season. Darwin Núñez, when he is clinical, is an absolute handful for any defense. Uruguay always punch above their weight at World Cups. Always. Do not sleep on them. And what about Morocco? Morocco, despite some difficulties, remains Africa's best hope for a historic breakthrough. Their compact defensive structure and quality in wide areas make them extremely difficult to break down. They shocked the world in Qatar, reaching the semi-finals. Nobody gave them a chance then either. They work hard, they are organized, they believe, and for the African continent, they carry the hopes of over 1 billion people. That kind of motivation is not something you can measure on a spreadsheet. Now the question everyone has been waiting for. What does all of this actually mean? Who is really going to lift that trophy on July 19th at MetLife Stadium? Here is what the numbers tell us. Over $1 billion has traded on prediction markets for the 2026 FIFA World Cup winner, with France sitting at 18% and Spain at 17% as the leading probabilities. The collective wisdom of millions of people who have real money on the line is telling us it is a two-horse race at the top. But football does not care about odds. Football does not care about supercomputers. Football cares about what happens on the pitch when the pressure is at its absolute maximum. Here is my honest breakdown. Spain have the best squad when Yamal is fit. They play the most complete football. Their system is the most consistent and the most difficult to break down. If Yamal recovers fully from that hamstring injury and plays this tournament at full intensity, Spain are genuinely the team to beat. They have the organization, the talent, and the tactical intelligence to win every game they play. France are the safest pick on paper. The depth is extraordinary. Mbappe is motivated like never before after losing that 2022 final. And with this being Deschamps' last tournament, the emotional energy inside that dressing room is something that cannot be quantified. France know how to win ugly when the pressure is at its highest. That experience is priceless. Argentina carry the wild card factor. With Messi, anything is possible. We have seen it too many times to dismiss it. He elevates everyone around him. He makes the impossible happen. And a motivated Messi, in what could genuinely be his final World Cup appearance, is the most unpredictable force in football. Brazil with Ancelotti have the tools to finally end that 24-year drought. If Vinicius Jr. catches fire in this tournament, if he finds that rhythm and that confidence he shows at Real Madrid, Brazil could tear through the bracket. They have done it before. They can do it again. And England? England will always be England. The talent is there. The heartbreak is always possible. But so is the magic moment. So is that one unlikely run that ends 60 years of pain. The honest truth is this: in a 48-team World Cup with this many elite nations competing, with this many superstar players all peaking at the same time, nobody truly knows what is going to happen, and that is exactly what makes this the most exciting sporting event on planet Earth. One thing is absolutely certain: the summer of 2026 will be one for the ages. From the streets of Mexico City to the stadiums of New York, from the noise of 80,000 screaming fans to the silence of a penalty shootout at the end of a final, this World Cup is going to produce moments that we will be talking about for the rest of our lives. So here is what I want from you right now. Drop a comment below and tell me who you think is going to win the 2026 World Cup. Is it Spain, France, Argentina, Brazil, England? Or are you backing a dark horse that nobody else sees coming? Because right now, with the tournament just weeks away, your prediction matters. This is the moment. Write it down, put your flag in the ground, and when July 19th comes and that final whistle blows, let us see who had it right all along. And if you know another football fan who needs to see this breakdown before the tournament starts, share this video with them right now. Send it to your group chat. Post it to your story. Because this is the conversation that every real football fan needs to be having. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is almost here, and we are just getting started.